sacred fire dance of Bel or Beltane. Which is why they dance around in the sacred circle around the sacred pole. Entering the trance of the dance of romance. The esoteric flow of the inner circle or the tunnel of love, the rabbit hole. The primordial abyss of the tunnel of the goddess, like her birth canal. So now you'll understand the true symbolism behind the logo and the company of Chanel, which is actually the channel, the Chanel, which is known as the Vesica Piscis, the woman or the goddess channel or her birth canal, which is the exact same symbolism that you will find at churches and, of course, with Jesus. And of course, where the black time cube is where you will find the black hole of the goddess. So now you'll understand this commercial by Chanel. So again, I'll explain. First of all, we have the light fertility of Bel on the head of the train, which is a phallic symbol. And then we see the symbol of the bull, which is the bullseye. Did you catch the sex magic fertility of the train going through the hole of the Vesica Piscis, or the female tunnel of the goddess? Did you catch the Istanbul? The subliminal sex magic of the Illuminati.
I love you.
Chanel, number 5.
And of course, the number 5 is the 5th day of the week, Friday, the day of the goddess of love, Venus. And when you try to change the channel of your television set, in order to get the energy flow of the programming, you need cable. Which is why the Cabal owns cable in the Eye of Ra or Horus. And the Taurus or the toroid also gives us our spiral or our spirale, which also gives us our twirl, which is exactly why we call our twisters a tornado, which is why the toroid shape of the tornado is named after the Taurus bull, which is also known as a funnel, which is where we get our turbine. And of course, the turbine comes from the Taurus bull, which is a form of electricity. And now you know where the powerful burst of energy comes from in a turbo, which is from the Taurus bull. So obviously now you understand that the word turn comes from the Taurus bull, the toroid of the spinning Taurus. And did you know that when you shoot a bullet down a gun barrel, it spins in the toroid shape of the spinning circle? And of course, the phallic bullet comes from the fertility of the bull. which is why it is shaped like the obelisk. And also, lead is the metal of Saturn L. And the outer casing of a bullet is known as the shell, which comes from the female. And so now you know the secret behind the shell of the goddess Venus and her shell. And remember that the planet Venus is the ruler of Saturn. So we see the connection with Venus and the fertility horns of the moon. And we find the fertility horn of the moon in the ancient depiction of the Venus of La Selle, which is around 25,000 years old. So like I said, the ancient worship of the fertility of the goddess was always before the male. And when we go to a circus, it's because of the sacred circle, which is why at a circus you will find the circling or the spiral of L.
Treasure chest on one of these, so if you get one of these, you may win the treasure chest of toys. You have 30 seconds to spin it around. Whatever you get, you'll get. And if you get a treasure chest, either the picture or a word that says treasure chest, you go home with every toy today. Okay, Larry? Good luck to you. Give the magic bonanza wheel a spin. Oh, sure.
Okay, let me just show you how it works here. Start here. Like that.
Wowee, Kazowie! That's not only drawn me in, I'm getting a little bamboozled watching it. Oh, no.
So you see, the circus or the circle is the representation of the zodiac. And that's exactly why you'll find the animals at the circus, because the zodiac means the animal wheel. And the sacred circle of the goddess is the sacred symbolism and meaning behind the word church, which comes from the ancient goddess of magic and witchcraft, the goddess Circe. And you'll notice the symbolism of the circle behind her, which is the cirque of L. And the circle or the hour or the Horus also gives us our word whole, as in completion. And also our word whole or the ho-el, which is exactly where we get our word whore from the big black dark hole, which is why they call them a hoe from the big hole. And when you're looking for a hoe, all you need to do is find a hotel or perhaps a motel. The whorehouse is known as the most ancient profession in the world. It traces its roots back to the ancient homes known as bordellos, which were Sumerian homes built in Uruk, built to house prostitution. They were known as brothels or the sex whorehouse of El, the broth or the Beth of El, which is the house of El, which is exactly why Bethlehem is the house of God. So now you'll understand why they tell us that the world was created by a big bang, and the theory of the black hole, which is all about sex magic. So the cow goddess gave birth to the universe, which is actually the uterus, which is the female bull that creates life. And this is exactly why that the bull is behind the creator, because the creator is the Taurus bull. So now you see that even our very word creator has the Taurus bull in it, the creation of the Milky Way. And the very word create or creation actually comes from the creation of the crescent of the moon. And we find the ancient lunar cow goddess or the moon worship on the ancient island of Crete. And the bull worship of the Minoan ancient civilization gives us the Cretan bull. And believe me, you're not going to find this information on a bulletin. You see, truth is like a golden coin. There are two sides to the story. The obverse, which is the obvious, and the reverse, which is the hidden. You see, this is why we have a double double-sided coin. And this is exactly why it's called a coin, or a co-in, the couple into. And now you know why they call it heads or tails, which is just a form of sex magic. And this is why money is made up of the red and the blue fibers, or the male and the female. And this is why the sex magic of money is named after the moon, which is exactly why the money is printed at the mint, which comes from the Egyptian fertility god of the moon, the bull god Min, which is why you'll find the symbol of the Illuminati on our money, and that's why they're called the Illuminati. So life is about the dualistic nature of truth and lies. And this is exactly why they try to teach us about the parallel worlds. And this is why they teach us the philosophy of the paradigm worlds, which para means two, and the di, or the dios, or the dia, means the cut or the slice, like as in diagonal. And this is the reason that we have interdimensional worlds. Dimensional, the dia, the min and the scion, the moon and the sun. And so now you'll understand why it's called a paradox. And so we have the second bowl, or the story of the Bible, with the Old and the New Testament, the dualistic nature of duality, which is just separating the old year from the new year, the old cold winter from the new hot summer, or the season. And of course, this is why the Bible has the story of the parables, or the pair of bulls. And this is why religions are taught the dualistic duality of heaven or hell. And of course, evil versus good, or the devil versus Jesus, which is nothing more than the sun and the moon, which is nothing more than the ancient battle of day and night, or black and white. And it's funny, think about it, we have the bull god of the Bible, and also the bull of Satan, or Baal, or Baal. And of course, Satan, or the devil, is always one of the animals of the animal wheel of the zodiac, like the goat, the ram, or the bull. And Satan is just an anagram for Saturn. And the devil is just the perception of darkness or evilness. And the word devil means to shine or to divide, the dev-el. And of course, Lucifer also comes from the lux, or the light, which is the exact same meaning behind the word Bel. And the devil is a DE word that represents negativity, or let's say death or decline, like the death of December. Honestly, I can't believe that people actually think that there's a devil under the world right now as we speak, floating around in burning flames. Or perhaps that there's a God up there floating around looking
Religion
down.
has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. And if you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish, where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time. But he loves you.